welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk to you all about the difference between having a closed mindset and a growth mindset. Now, if you do think that you are in a closed mindset currently, this video should be helpful for you. And if you do find it helpful, I would greatly appreciate you left a like. But I'll get into it. So what actually is a closed mindset and what actually is a growth mindset? Now, to me, a closed mindset is a mindset where you believe that you don't believe that things can change. If you have a certain level of skill in something, you believe that's it. It's just going to stay like that. So if you're bad at maths, you're always going to be bad at maths. If you're good at something, it's just because you were born with the ability to be good at it. And that means if other people aren't as good as you, they'll never be able to be as good at you at that specific skill. So then a growth mindset is the opposite, where you believe that things that you are born with, if you're good at them, other people can learn to be just as good as you, and you can also get better. And if you're not so good at something, like, I don't know, like maths, you can learn how to become better at maths. And the growth mindset is an incredibly important feature to have, especially in self-improvement, because self-improvement is literally based upon the idea that we can improve and grow as people. So if you're coming into self-improvement with a closed mind, you're already at a loss, because you probably sat there believing that most of the stuff that people are saying is going to help you. It doesn't apply to you, because you're like, well, I'm as I am, and that's just the way it is. Nothing's going to change. Why do people bother with all these random techniques and tricks to get better, to feel better, to think better, to do more? Because you're so closed off from the idea of growing. So it's incredibly important, especially within self-improvement, because the entire foundation of this community is based on growth. And how can you grow if your mindset is closed off to such beautiful progression? So a growth mindset is important for this reason. You need to be able to believe that you can be better, get better, do better, if you're ever going to start progressing and becoming better. Now, when I was younger, albeit I did have a pretty closed mindset. So if that's where you are right now, don't worry. I learned how to be more growth oriented. And so there is always hope for you. And I believe that you will be able to make this transition between closed and a growth mindset. And you're not alone, because I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who still have a quite closed mindset. So if that is you, why don't you put it down in the comments? And you might be able to find other people like you who similarly still have a closed mindset, who you can, grow with and go on the journey of developing a growth mindset with. So when I was younger, I had a closed mindset, like I mentioned before. And there were some subjects I was good at and some I weren't in school. And then there were subjects that some of my friends were better than me at, even though I was good. And I'd always put myself in competition with them, because, I like to compete. I like to try and be better than others, especially my friends. It's a bit of fun, friendly competition. But there were just some things, like in secondary school, I wasn't the best at maths. Or I didn't feel as confident at maths as I did at other subjects. And rather than trying, I kind of took a bit of an easy way out. Because I was so closed off to being able to get better, I just told myself, well, there's no point trying, is there? Because I'm not good at this. And I'm never going to be good at this, because, if I was going to be good, I would have got it by now. So I'm just going to pretend to know what I'm doing so I don't get told off for not doing work. And just not try. Because I know I'm going to fail anyway, so what's the point in trying to do better? Then I went through a bit of a phase of just doing that with all my lessons. Grades slipped a bit, and I realised that in the subjects I did enjoy or I was good at, it wasn't necessarily because I started off good at them, because I started off with grades that were lower than the ones I had by the end of the year. And it made me realise it was never about talent and luck and being born with this ability. It was that because I enjoyed it, I put more effort into it, and that's why I was better at it than other people, because I simply put more effort into it. I put more practice into it. And then that's what opened my eyes to the whole growth mindset, is that you grow into your abilities by practice, over and over again, repeated reps. It's the same way you build muscle in the gym. Use reps and reps and reps. It's the same way you get better at any skill. You put in the reps. I'm like with a YouTube channel. Each video is another rep. Each time you speak to the camera, you're slowly getting better at making the eye contact with the lens. You get better at articulating your points. You get better at speaking more confidently. It's the same as the gym. Every time you make a rep, your muscle fibers break a little bit and you replace it with the protein and they grow. It's the same with any skill. And all progress I have made has come from that day when I realized that these skills can be developed. And it all starts with the way you think about them. If I carried on thinking that my ability in certain areas was set in stone and there was no point trying to improve, and I closed myself off from this path of progression and growth, I would have stayed just as bad as everything I was, as I was all the way back then back in like year 9 and year 10. I think that means I was like 14 or 15. But I realized you can get better. And it just starts with believing I'm sorry for stuttering so much. It starts with believing that you can be better. And so I believed that I could be better, and all it took was trying over and over again. And obviously if you have to try it over and over again with something, no matter how many times you fail, it's got to be something you love, which is also another way of, boosting your progress, is focusing on things you enjoy doing. But you can grow with anything, and it all starts with the mind, believing that you can be better. And that's exactly what a growth mindset is. But I'm going to leave that one there. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, thumbs up. If you think someone else could do with hearing this, why don't you share it with them? If not, and you found use in it and you might want to watch more videos from me, subscribe. And if you have anything else to say, leave it in the comments. I'm more than happy to receive all the support and nice words from you all. But yeah, that's it from me for this one. I'll see you in another one. Peace out.